All right, family, welcome back. Let's jump in. Dear Dr. Dandridge, I live in a senior community, and lately I find myself grieving more than I expected. One of my neighbors now walks with the now okay, hold on. One of my neighbors now walks with oxygen. Another had a stroke last month. Each decline feels like a reminder of what's waiting for me, and I can't stop thinking about my own mortality. I don't want to spend the rest of my days in fear watching the people around me fade away. How do I grieve the losses happening around me while not losing hope for myself? This is more common than you think. So let's unpack this. As a hospice chaplain, I see this ever so often when I'm sitting down with my patients, and then also when I'm interacting with other patients inside of senior living communities, assisted living facilities, skilled nursing facilities. It's almost not to say comical, but it's very humorous. And a lot of people inside that older generation, they've actually found humor in it. I've heard quite a few of my patients and older individuals say, we already know what happens when we move inside of one of these facilities, or are they also on hospice, or um, how sick are they? Like we already know what's ready to happen. I think the older we get, we are all faced with our own, or should I say, the realization of our own mortality through the mortality of others. And that's young and old. I've seen, like, just like you, older individuals who see people around them passing, who see people around them having strokes, who see people around them being diagnosed with cancer. And it's like, wow, that could be me. But then I also see people that are around my age, inside of their 30s and 40s, where violence takes them away, or early cancer diagnosis that are extremely aggressive, or losing jobs and getting divorces. I mean, we've talked about the fact that grief does not just rest on those who have lost by way of death. Like it falls on a so many different levels, and there are people who will mirror and look at what someone else is going through and realize inside of that moment, man, this could be me. I could be experiencing that soon. What you said was actually powerful inside of your question. You said, how do I grieve the losses happening around me while not losing hope for myself? Number one, I want to acknowledge your level of awareness, because some people will see those around them inside of their environment and just turn a completely blind eye to it and not want to address or acknowledge or even accept the reality. So I want to acknowledge your awareness and your consciousness of what is happening around you. And I also want to acknowledge your courage for wanting to talk about your own mortality, because that's something that a lot of people choose not to do. There's a book, and I actually might put it down inside of the description, that my wife turned me on to, and I need to get it and probably fill it out myself. But the title of the book, and you might already have it, is "I'm Dead Now What." And my wife and I, we were talking about it, and a lot of people might purchase a book like that because it's a book. It's like a guide on, like, what happens after I die, what I want, where I want to be buried, who I want to speak at my funeral, if I even want a funeral. I mean, it's pretty much getting your affairs in order. And when people talk about stuff like powers of attorneys, estate planning, wills, advanced directives, all of these are opportunities for us to face our mortality. I want everyone who is listening to me to hear this loud and clear. It is a simple truth, but it is a hard pill to swallow. You are not going to live forever. Can I take it one step further? Your relationship is not going to last forever. Your job and your career is not going to last forever. You are not going to have your home forever. Your children are not going to be children forever. Nothing in life was ever designed to last forever. And that is a hard reality, but that is the truth. And we would, in my opinion, experience less stress, less anxiety, and like you said, less fear and worry about our reality if we just accepted that at some point it's going to change. At some point, it's going to look different. At some point, things are not going to be the way that they always were. And it's okay. It is okay for you to grow old. How you grow old, only time will tell. I've seen people that are 101 that are still dancing the boot scooting the boot scooting boogie. But I've also seen people that are 44 take their last breath with a wife and a 2-year old. We don't know what tomorrow brings, but we do know that if we live long enough, life is going to change. Life is going to look different. So accept it. You are a mortal. I know that that's hard to hear, but you are a mortal. You are a human being. And if you feel as though you are immortal, if you feel as though your body is going to live forever, please put something inside of the comments so I can follow you for the rest of my days. Now, I don't want to make this too deep and go inside the metaphysical and the spiritual. And people are always like, well, you're spiritless forever, the hope of salvation and religion and whatnot. That's a whole nother conversation. What I'm talking about is this flesh and bone that is looking at this computer screen or telephone screen. That flesh and bone right there, that's not going to last forever. And it's not going to stay the same forever. Sickness is going to come. The effects of old age is going to come. The effects of stress and anxiety is going to come. The effects of disease is going to come. The effects of a healthy body versus a non-managed healthy body, it's going to come. Just accept the fact that change is coming. And not just that change is coming, but that change is happening. You said living inside of this senior community that you're noticing all of this happening with your neighbors. What I want to challenge you to do is to look introspectively now. Now that you have acknowledged that your mortality could be changing, take a look and say, hey, okay, what I'm seeing the neighbor walking with the walker. I'm seeing the neighbor on oxygen. I'm seeing the neighbor who had a stroke. Okay, yes, this could happen to me as well, and I'm going to be okay with it. Yes, it's happening to those around me. It could happen to me because I am mortal just like they are. But you know something? I'm not going to stress myself about it. I may or may not need a walker or a wheelchair or become bedbound. But if I do need a walker or a wheelchair or become bedbound, I'm going to be okay. I may or may not need oxygen. If I don't, great. If I do, I'm okay. I may or may not get a diagnosis that is unbecoming or worrisome. But if I do, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to know what is happening with my body. And if I don't, thank you, divine creator, for giving me a body that is healthy up until the point of death or transition. You see what I'm saying? I mean, there's something that the old folk used to say, and I think it's biblical as well, where we've learned, even with our mortality, that in whatever state we find ourselves in, to just be content, to just learn to live, to love, to take each day one step at a time. And whatever comes, comes, whatever goes, goes. And ultimately, I guess to answer your question, how do I grieve the losses happening around me while not losing hope for myself? I keep hope alive. I keep hope that it could or could not happen. But I'm going to lean more inside of the could not happen. I'm going to lean more inside of the probably will not. But also inside the back of my head, I'm going to say, but it could as well. How do you lean inside of hope? Hope is always contingent on the possibility. And there is the possibility we have a 50-50 chance for good and bad to happen to us. But we have the 100% mindset that we can lean into the positive thinking, the positive aspect, the positive outlook, instead of dwelling on the fear, on the anxiety, on the stress of accepting our own mortality. Hope that this helped out a little bit. Thank you so much for writing in. I pray for those inside of your community that are also experiencing these transitions and changes, and that they become aware, just like you, of their mortality, of their level of consciousness in a way that they're able to accept, but then they are also able to lean into hope and the possibility of great and better days. Okay? Thank you again for joining me at my desk. Thank you again for writing in. This has been Designing Your Goodbyes. I'm Dr. Dandridge, and I'll see you inside of the next episode, okay?